Hi, everybody, and welcome back to LL Sports TV. Hope you're all doing well. This weekend, another heavyweight domestic dust-up takes place at the Copper Box Arena over in East London. British heavyweights Johnny Fisher and Dave Allen go head-to-head for the second time in the space of 6 months. Now, these two fought previously over in Riyadh in Saudi Arabia. I think it was back in last December. And that fight ended quite controversially when Johnny Fisher was declared a points winner over Dave Allen. But many observers thought that Dave Allen had done more than enough to win, especially after knocking down Johnny Fisher in the fifth round. And he went on to have a few good rounds after that. Many people thought that Dave Allen did more than enough to win. Some people went further than that and said it was a straight out robbery. So there was controversy, and notwithstanding, this is one of those what I would call intriguing crossroads fights where you get the sort of highly touted, unbeaten prospect on the way up, taking on an older, more experienced, more hardened, brittled guy in the form of Dave Allen. So coming into this fight, Johnny Fisher, he's 26 years old. He's from Essex, Romford. He's known as the Romford Bull. He has a professional career so far of 13 fights, 13 wins, no losses. 11 of those wins come by KOs, as you can see there. Certainly at this level anyway, he's quite a big puncher. Dave Allen, on the other hand, 33 years old now. He's from Doncaster up in Yorkshire. He's known as the White Rhino. You could call him a seasoned veteran. He's got a professional career which dates back to 2012. And in that time, he's had 32 fights, 23 wins, 7 losses, 2 draws, and 18 of his wins have come by KO. So he can let it hang. He can he can punch as well. I mean, they are heavyweights. These guys, they're that big, they're that strong. If they land clean, it's going to be a problem. Dave Allen, as you can see by those stats, he's by far the more experienced fighter. Almost 3 times as many fights on his record as Johnny Fisher. And he's been in the likes, he's been in with the likes of Dillian White, Luis Ortiz, Tony Yoka, David Price, Fraser Clark, all names. I mean, he didn't beat any of those guys, but he has shared the ring with them, so that does count. One of the fights that stands out on his record, though, as a win is the win he had against Lucas Brown, who's a former world champion of sorts. Not a really recognised world champion, but Lucas Brown back in the day was a name. Lucas Brown of Australia. He beat him well. Dave Allen also beat Nick Webb, who a few years ago Nick Webb was seen as a prospect, so that was a good win. Likewise, he beat Tom Dallas and Larry Olabamiru, who at the time, anyway, those were seen as good wins for Dave Allen. So I guess what I'm saying is Dave Allen is not to be taken lightly. He's experienced, he's tough, and he does have some decent wins. And let's be honest, a lot of people thought that he beat Johnny Fisher last time out. So, there is form there. As for Johnny Fisher, in his brief period as a pro, I think his best win, well, without a doubt, his best win is against Alen Babic of Croatia. First round knockout, looked good that night. But I guess you also have to temper that by the fact that Babic, at that time anyway, was showing signs of frailty. And also, Babic is quite a small heavyweight. I mean, he's coming up from cruiserweight. So, so we have to, counterbalance things by saying that. But Johnny Fisher, he's younger than Dave Allen. He's fresher than Dave Allen. He has physical advantages in terms of height, reach, and physical strength, which, he acquired prior. He's a rugby player formerly, and he's a young man, sort of not in his heavyweight prime, but you know what I'm saying, 26 years old, he's big and strong, and you would fancy him to be the stronger man in there. So to predictions then, based on their first fight anyway, I'm expecting this to be another hard but entertaining fight. May not be the sort of sock 'em rock 'em fight which happened the first time around, because I do expect Johnny Fisher and his coach, Mark Tibbs, to adopt slightly different tactics for this fight. I feel that they may have slightly underestimated Dave Allen the first time around. Now they definitely do respect him, despite what they may say in interviews and stuff. So I'll expect Johnny Fisher to aim to use his youth, his power, and box behind a jab. I think that they will be a lot smarter. They'll be a lot more defensively responsible. avoid getting into a brawl, and look to impose his natural size and strength and freshness and youth over the older man as the fight goes on. Use the jab to not to score points, but to try and create openings for the right hand and for the left hook. I see them wanting to go to the body as well in this fight. And I think he will look to learn from the mistakes he made in the first fight. I mean, watching the first fight, it would appear that Johnny Fisher came out the traps quick, looking to establish his dominance. He probably thought he was going to get a stoppage win. And, he soon realised that Dave Allen is quite a tough guy. So I expect the tactics will be slightly different for this fight. As for Dave Allen, I'm expecting that he will look to replicate his success from the first fight. I mean, he also had success with a jab. I expect him to want to go to the body of Johnny Fisher and also look for opportunities to land his best shot, which seems to be the overhand right, which he's had success previously in his career. But overall, I do expect that Johnny Fisher will learn from the mistakes of the first fight. I think he'll be more measured. I think he'll box behind the jab. I think he'll look to pace himself a bit more, probe for openings, and look to, all intents and purposes, be a more clear winner than the first time around. But he does need to pace himself. I think if he goes looking for an early knockout, that will play into Dave Allen's hands. But as I said before, he's got height and reach advantage. If he boxes behind the jab, be sensible, be defensively responsible, I do think that he could get the win. I mean, I'm going to go for that old adage in boxing, which is that the person who wins the first fight normally wins the rematch in a more emphatic fashion. So I'm going for Johnny Fisher to start cautiously, but to grow into it. I expect him to start dominating in the middle half of the fight, 5, 6, 7, and do enough to get the win. But I do expect Dave Allen to be competitive. And why wouldn't he be? Because, I mean, he will believe that he won that first fight. He will definitely have his moments. But I think Johnny Fisher, especially when you consider that he will have the vast majority of that crowd behind him. The fight is at the Copper Box, as I said. Johnny Fisher is from Romford, just down the road from the Copper Box. It's home grounds for him. Johnny Fisher, by the way, has excellent support. He's one of the most supported fighters in Britain at the moment. The place will be full up. They'll be making lots of noise. And I think they'll roar him on to victory. So, yeah, I'm going for Johnny Fisher to box his way to a points win, an emphatic points win. I do think that Dave Allen will be competitive. I do think he has a puncher's chance. But when the smoke is cleared, I expect Johnny Fisher to have his hand raised. But what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. I would appreciate if you did that. Thanks so much for watching the video. Really appreciate it. If you're new to the channel, please like, share and subscribe. I'm out, and I'll catch you on the next one.